loan officer's laughter cuts through Olivia Reed like a knife as she sits across from him in her faded blue cardigan, clutching a folder of meticulously prepared documents. Her loan application, her chance to save her struggling community center, dangles between his manicured fingers, his wedding ring catching the fluorescent light as he tosses it aside, without even opening it. "Sweetie," Marcus Wilson drawls, leaning back in his leather chair at First Capital Bank, his eyes skimming over her worn flats and drugstore makeup. "People like you don't get loans like this. Do you even know what collateral means?" Olivia's cheeks burn with humiliation, but her voice remains steady. "I've included all the necessary documentation and financial projections. The community center serves over." "The community center?" Marcus interrupts, his face twisting into a smirk. He swivels his chair toward his colleague, Patricia Keller, who's watching from her glass-walled office. "Hey, Pat, this woman thinks we're a charity." Patricia steps out, her Louboutins clicking against the marble floor, her silk blouse probably worth more than Olivia's entire wardrobe. "Is there a problem?" "Ms. Reed here thinks we should give her $500,000 for some neighborhood pet project. Says it's a community center." The air quotes he makes with his fingers drip with disdain. "I've run the center for 5 years," Olivia says quietly, her hazel eyes direct despite the tremor in her hands. "We provide after-school programs for underprivileged children, job training for single parents, and I'm sure that's very nice." Patricia cuts in, her voice syrupy with fake sympathy. "But this is a bank, not a GoFundMe page. We need serious applicants with actual assets." The bank lobby falls silent as other customers turn to stare. Olivia feels every eye on her as her dreams crumble before her. She spent months preparing this application, gathering data, creating business plans, all to expand the center that's become a lifeline for so many in the forgotten east side of town. A young banker, Kevin, hovers nearby, his eyes darting between his bosses and Olivia, clearly uncomfortable but unwilling to intervene. Marcus leans forward, sliding her application back across the polished desk with one finger, as if touching it fully might contaminate him. "Maybe try the pawn shop down the street. I hear they're more flexible with your type." Patricia laughs, a high, tinkling sound that bounces off the marble columns. "Or perhaps see if your little charity cases can hold a bake sale." Olivia reaches for her folder, her fingers steadier than she feels. She won't give them the satisfaction of seeing her cry, though tears burn behind her eyes. She stands, smoothing her simple skirt, her dignity a shield against their cruelty. "Thank you for your time," she says, her voice soft but unwavering. "Of course, honey." Marcus grins, exchanging glances with Patricia. "Don't forget your little papers." As Olivia turns to leave, Marcus calls after her. "Better luck next time. Maybe wear something that doesn't look like it came from a thrift shop." The security guard at the door, an older man named Frank who has always nodded kindly at her, stares at his shoes as she passes, the bank's laughter following her out into the bright morning. Outside, Olivia takes a deep breath, clutching her folder to her chest. She walks to her 10-year-old Honda parked across the street, slides inside, and only then allows a single tear to track down her cheek. She won't give up, can't give up, but for now, the rejection stings like salt in an open wound. She checks her phone. 3 missed calls from her sister, Catherine. With a sigh, she dials back, needing to hear a friendly voice. "Liv, how did it go?" Catherine's warmth floods through the speaker. "Not great," Olivia admits, her voice cracking slightly. "They didn't even look at my application. Just mocked me." Catherine's sharp intake of breath carries her anger across the line. "Which bank?" "First Capital. Downtown branch." Olivia wipes her cheek. "It doesn't matter. I'll try somewhere else." "Which loan officer?" "Marcus Wilson. And some woman named Patricia. They text me the address." Catherine interrupts, her voice suddenly cool and precise. "I'm calling James." "Cat, no." Olivia protests weakly. "I don't want to bother him. He's so busy with the merger and—" "This isn't a bother," Catherine cuts in. "This is family. Text me the address. Now." Olivia sighs, knowing that tone. When Catherine Reed Morgan sets her mind to something, particularly where her little sister is concerned. Resistance is futile. She sends the address, then sits back against the worn seat, eyes closed, gathering her strength. Inside the bank, the morning continues. Marcus and Patricia share a laugh at the simple woman's expense, retelling the story to colleagues who drift by. Kevin, the junior banker, looks increasingly uncomfortable, but says nothing. The security guard, Frank, checks his watch, counting minutes until lunch. "Did you see those shoes?" Patricia giggles to the receptionist. "I haven't seen knockoffs that bad since my kid's school play about poor people." Marcus adds, "And that cardigan, like she was wearing her grandmother's hand-me-downs." As their mockery reaches its peak, the bank doors swing open. The lobby falls silent. Catherine Reed Morgan strides in, every inch the executive in her tailored designer suit, her auburn hair swept into an elegant chignon, diamonds glinting at her ears and throat. Behind her walks James Morgan, his imposing 6'3" frame impeccably dressed in a suit that whispers old money. James Morgan, CEO of Morgan Financial Group, one of the largest private equity firms in the country. James Morgan, who recently made headlines for acquiring a string of regional banks. James Morgan, Olivia Reed's brother-in-law. Marcus's laugh dies in his throat as he recognizes the power couple from countless financial magazines and news segments. Patricia freezes mid-sentence, her smile faltering. Catherine's gaze sweeps the lobby, landing on Marcus and Patricia with laser precision. She moves toward them, her heels clicking a deadly rhythm on the marble floor. "Marcus Wilson?" she asks, her voice carrying in the hushed space. Marcus stands quickly, straightening his tie. "Yes, Mrs. Morgan, what an unexpected honor. How can I?" "You spoke with my sister earlier," Catherine says, cutting through his fawning. "Olivia Reed." The color drains from Marcus's face. "Your sister." James Morgan steps forward, his presence commanding the room. "Ms. Reed applied for a loan for her community center, I believe?" Patricia finds her voice, strained and high. "There must be some misunderstanding. We have procedures, protocols for loan applications that include mockery and humiliation?" Catherine asks, her eyebrow arched. "Interesting protocol." Frank, the security guard, steps forward. "Mr. and Mrs. Morgan, if I may." He hesitates, then continues. "I heard everything. They laughed at her, told her to try a pawn shop, made fun of her clothes." Kevin, the junior banker, nods, finding his courage. "They didn't even open her file, sir. Just judged her by her appearance." James Morgan's expression doesn't change, but the temperature in the room seems to drop 10 degrees. "I see." He turns to the bank manager, who has rushed from his office, panic evident on his face. "Who owns this branch?" "First Capital Banking Corporation, sir," the manager stammers. "Regional headquarters in." "I know who owns it." James interrupts. "I was testing you." He turns to Catherine. "Call Eleanor. Tell her to execute Plan Delta." Catherine smiles, a predatory gleam in her eye as she steps aside to make the call. Marcus struggles to salvage the situation. "Mr. Morgan, there's been a terrible misunderstanding. If we had known Ms. Reed was connected to your family." "That's precisely the problem." James cuts in, his voice deadly quiet. "You should treat everyone with respect, not just those you think have connections. My sister-in-law wanted no special treatment. She didn't use our name. She came to you on her own merits, with a solid business plan for a center that helps hundreds of people." Patricia attempts a different approach. "We'll approve her loan immediately, of course. A misunderstanding." "Too late," Catherine says, rejoining them, her smile sharp. "Eleanor says the paperwork will be finalized by end of day." The bank manager looks confused. "What paperwork?" James Morgan straightens his cuffs, a small, satisfied smile playing at his lips. "Morgan Financial Group began acquiring controlling interest in First Capital Banking Corporation 3 weeks ago. As of 5 p.m. today, we'll own 51% of your shares." He pauses, letting the information sink in. "Consider it a wedding present for my wife's sister." The lobby erupts in whispers. Marcus sinks back into his chair, his face ashen. Patricia clutches the edge of a desk for support. "That's not possible." The manager whispers. First Capital isn't for sale. Everything's for sale, James replies calmly. It's just a matter of price. Catherine steps forward, handing her business card to Kevin, the junior banker who had tried to help. You start at Morgan Financial on Monday. HR will call you this afternoon. She turns to Frank. You too, if you're interested in a security position with better pay and actual respect. Frank's weathered face breaks into a grin. Yes, ma'am. James addresses the stunned manager. As for the new ownership's first executive decision, Marcus Wilson and Patricia Keller are terminated, effective immediately. Please escort them from the building. Marcus finally finds his voice. You can't do that. I have rights. A contract. Check clause 23.b of your employment agreement, James says, not bothering to look at him. Moral turpitude. Discrimination. Creating a hostile environment. Take your pick. 2 security guards appear, summoned by Frank's discreet call. Wait. Patricia pleads, tears streaming down her face, smearing her perfect makeup. My husband just lost his job. We have a mortgage. Please. Perhaps you should try the pawn shop down the street, Catherine suggests, her voice dripping with false sympathy. I hear they're more flexible with your type. As Marcus and Patricia are escorted out, their personal items hastily packed into cardboard boxes, James turns to the remaining employees. Tomorrow begins a new chapter for this bank. Those who treat all clients with dignity will thrive. Those who don't will follow Mr. Wilson and Ms. Keller. Am I understood? Nods all around, some fearful, others relieved. Outside, Olivia sits in her car, staring at her phone. Catherine has texted. Come inside. Now. With a sigh, she gathers her folder and crosses the street, hesitating at the bank's gleaming doors. When she enters, she's confused by the scene. Her sister and brother-in-law standing in the center of the lobby. Employees gathered around them. Marcus and Patricia nowhere to be seen. Liv, Catherine calls, waving her over. Perfect timing. James smiles warmly at his sister-in-law. Olivia, I'd like you to meet the new loan committee for your community center project. The bank manager steps forward, hand outstretched, his face a mask of eager servility. Ms. Reed, we'd be honored to review your proposal immediately. Olivia looks between them, understanding dawning slowly. What did you two do? What we should have done years ago, Catherine says, linking her arm through Olivia's. Supported you properly. But I wanted to do this on my own, Olivia protests quietly, without your help or James's influence. James shakes his head. You'd do it on your own. Your business plan is solid. Your projections are conservative but promising. The center's track record is impressive. The loan should have been approved on merit. Then why? Because some people can't see past appearances, Catherine says, squeezing her sister's arm. But we've fixed that little problem. Fixed it how? Olivia asks, suspicion growing. James grins, looking boyish despite his power and wealth. Let's just say this branch has new ownership that appreciates community investment. You bought the bank. Olivia's voice rises in disbelief. Because they were mean to me? Not just the branch, Catherine clarifies. The whole company. Olivia stares at them, speechless. Consider it an investment in communities like the one your center serves. James says more seriously. First Capital has a history of discriminatory lending practices. We've had our eye on them for a while. Your experience just accelerated our timeline. 3 months later, Olivia stands in the expanded community center, watching children play in the new gym. The computer lab hums with activity. Adults learning skills for better jobs, teenagers working on homework, seniors connecting with distant family. The loan came through, along with a matching grant from the Morgan Foundation. The center now serves twice as many people, with programs running from dawn until late evening. Marcus Wilson wasn't wrong about one thing. She isn't wearing thrift store clothes anymore. Catherine insisted on taking her shopping. But Olivia being Olivia, she donated all her old clothes to the center's professional wardrobe program, helping job seekers dress for interviews. Her phone buzzes with a text from Catherine. Board meeting in 20. Car waiting outside. Olivia smiles, gathering her things. As a new board member of First Capital, now renamed Community First Banking, she has responsibilities beyond the center. Under her guidance, the bank has created microloans for small businesses in underserved neighborhoods and special mortgage programs for first-time homebuyers. As she walks through the center, high-fiving children and checking in with staff, she passes the wall of photos. In the center hangs a framed newspaper clipping. Morgan Financial acquires First Capital, pledges community focus. The smaller headline below reads, Former bank executives Wilson and Keller file for bankruptcy after failed discrimination lawsuit. Olivia doesn't smile at the headline. She never wanted revenge, just a chance to help her community. But as she steps into the waiting car, she can't help feeling that sometimes justice and opportunity arrive in unexpected packages. And sometimes a simple woman in a faded cardigan can change more lives than anyone might have guessed, especially those who judged her by her cover. If you enjoyed this story, please hit like, subscribe, and share with friends who appreciate tales of quiet strength and sweet justice. Drop a comment below about a time when someone underestimated you. We'd love to hear your story.